So I'm going to go ahead and run a full cycle with plastic, go through step by step the process, putting the material in, starting the cycle, everything of that nature. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to open up the clamping frame and get our material and put it into the clamping frame. So when you put the material into the machine, you're infringing light curtains, so before you can start a cycle, you will have to clear it by pressing the push button on the right-hand side of the control box. And then we're going to go ahead and start a cycle. So we'll press start cycle, and the material will begin to heat. As you can see, when you press start cycle, the door will automatically open. When it reaches the oven section of the machine, it'll automatically close again. Now, if we wanted to open the door, we have the opportunity to do that now. If you want to, look inside of the oven, see how the plastic is doing. This is the pneumatic clamps in operation. Clamps are fully adjustable left to right and front to back with different clamping inserts. This is the pneumatic clamping frame valve to open and close the frame. This equipment also has a light curtain safety interlock. So if the light curtain is triggered, if there's a current cycle, it will abort and it will prevent anything from continuing. To clear the light curtain, we have a button on the side here. The light is going to indicate that the light curtain has been triggered, and to reset, push button on the side of the main control box. Here we're going to demonstrate the door. You're able to open and close the door from a button on the HMI. The door will also automatically open and close while you're running a cycle. This is the main operator's screen. From here, they can manually open and close the door. You can also start a cycle. You have the ability to manually run the clamping frame carriage in and out of the oven with these buttons here. So if we open the door, it'll allow us to run the frame in. Momentary switch, so it'll stop, and you can run the frame back. From the main screen, we can set the sag sensor. So if we look underneath the door button, it'll show a sag set point. That's the set point of when the cycle will advance. So if the plastic sags down 6 inches from the initial starting point, then it will advance a cycle. You can also come in here and change this value. And then below that, it's going to give the current sag. Right now it doesn't have a sheet of material in it. When it does, this will show as 0. You can also toggle the sag sensor on and off if you don't want to use the sag sensor. Just by pressing here, you know that you're not currently using the sag sensor if the set point disappears. From here we can go into the upper and lower oven setup screen. They're laid out in the same way. So this machine has 32 zones upper and 32 zones lower. It's laid out, as you can see here, correlates with the oven. You can do an overall increase or decrease with these buttons here. If you want to adjust the entirety of the oven. If you want to adjust a specific zone, you press within the zone, and then you set your heat value. And if it is set for 0, that zone will be turned off. Lower heat works in the same way. Okay, now we'll go back to the opening screen, and from here we can navigate to the timer setup. These are all the set times for a cycle. So heat time is going to be the duration of time that the carriage, the clamping frame, is in the oven heating the material, actively heating. Once that expires, it'll come to the front into the forming station. Once it's reached the forming station, then you'll have a series of delays that you can set. You can set a delay for when the fans will start. We have it set for 10 seconds. A delay for the upper tool, a delay for the lower tool, basically, this will delay that function from starting until the delay time has expired. We have the vacuum delay set here as well. And then to the right of that, we have the duration. So this is the amount of time that the function will actually be engaged for. So we have the fan set for 65, 30 seconds for the lower. We're going to increase that to 240. Then you have a lower vac duration. And then this machine has an additional 2 auxiliary outputs, and the outputs work in the same way. They have a delay, and they have a duration, a delay, and a duration. On the very top right-hand corner, you can see the air blast. This will initiate after the vacuum has expired. So when the lower vac duration is over, then the air blast will initialize. We have it set for 0.5 seconds to inject a quick burst of air into the tool to help release it from the plastic. So if we're in the timer setup screen, from here we can also go to tool setup. And in the tool setup mode, you can manually raise and lower the upper and lower tooling table, so you can set up your tooling just by pressing here. And then if you leave the tooling setup mode turned on, then it will prevent you from starting a cycle, so you want to make sure to turn it off before you try to start a cycle. In addition to that, if you go into the touchscreen manager, you also have a manual screen. This allows you to run all the functions of the machine manually. So you can turn it on here, and you have your lower table, upper table, vacuum fans, all the different operations. So you could run the machine manually if you wanted to, if you didn't want to run it on an automatic cycle. And we're going to go ahead and turn that off. So back to the operator screen. So once you've set your timers and you have your heat settings dialed into what you need them to be for whatever plastic and application that you're doing, then you can save those settings. So we have our save job settings here. This machine has a 100 save job option, so we can put in a value, call 65, and then we will press to save, and then it will save the current settings to number 65. If we try to pull up a value that does not have any settings and we load, all that's going to disappear, and you have a fresh timer setup. And you can just overwrite these recipes as well, just by making the changes as you need, and then press save recipe. So we're going to pull up recipe 65, which is what we just saved our current settings to. Press to load. We loaded those up. That's the upper oven, and then we're going to show the timer as well. So from the main screen, to actually turn the ovens on, we have the heaters on and off button. So you typically want to let the oven preheat for about 10 to 15 minutes before getting started. So once we've allowed that to preheat, we can actually start a cycle. So we're going to do a dry cycle, just kind of go through step by step everything that's happening. Okay, so the door is currently open, so we're going to go ahead and close it. You can start a cycle whether the door is open or closed. When the clamping frame goes into the oven, the door will automatically close, and while the clamping frame is inside of the oven heating, you have the option to manually open and close the door as well, and you can do that with this same button here. So we are going to go ahead and start a cycle. From here, as long as we don't have the safety interlocks triggered, meaning the e-stop or the light curtain infringed, it will give you an indicator at the top if either of those things have happened. And then to clear the light curtain, push button on the side will clear it. If you hit the e-stop, it will turn the oven off, but if you infringe the light curtain, it won't turn the oven off. So we're going to turn the oven back on because we pressed the e-stop. So we're going to go ahead and start a cycle now. I'm going to press start. On the right-hand side here, it's going to give you a real-time indicator light of what's currently happening. Right now you can see the carriage is going forward. And now we're hitting our heat runtime, so it's going to give you a countdown. I have it set for 400 seconds just as an initial starting point. So while we're in a heating cycle, it's going to give you a couple of additional options. Below the heat countdown, you have advanced. What that will do is that will allow you to advance the cycle, meaning that it will prematurely end the heating portion of the cycle, and then it will move the frame into the forming station, and then the rest of the timers would come on normally. Below that, we have abort. And what that will do is it will end the heating cycle. It will return the carriage to the forming station, but it will not activate any of the other functions, any of the timers, upper table, lower table, etc. So we're going to go ahead and hit advance. So the door opens up. We have a carriage reverse. So we show our tool up. That's the lower tooling table coming up. We have our vacuum coming on. Here we have our fans coming on. And those were all delayed to come on at the appropriate time. So from here, you can allow it to finish. You can allow the lower vacuum to finish out in the tooling table. If you want to end that prematurely, you can hit abort as well, and it will end all the current cycle timings.